My name's Sir Pentius. I like to build, and despite my stupid egg boys, I think I'm very skilled.
All right, and you're locked into another episode of the Leo podcast. My name is Josh, and this is part 2 of our discussion on Hazbin Hotel. If you have not listened to part 1 yet, go back to that episode. We discussed a lot of the theological standpoints, the background, and it give you a brief synopsis of the Hazbin Hotel in that episode. This week, we are discussing more of the overall storyline, the characters, the music. And we are glad to have Stephen back with us this week. Stephen, how have you been?
Good. Seems like this week went by really fast.
It did. Off-site instant. And, of course, I'm also joined with my lovely wife, Rebecca.
Hey, guys.
So, we're going to get right into it with giving you guys more of the story of Hazbin Hotel, discussing more of the characters like Baggy, Charlie, Adam, Alistair, all the hosts of characters, and the music as well. So, Rebecca, go ahead and start us off with this.
Just a quick recap on the synopsis here, in case you haven't watched or listened to the first episode. So, Hazbin Hotel is it follows the story of Charlie, who is the princess of hell. Her father is Lucifer. And she has this great idea to start a hotel where she can help rehabilitate and redeem sinners who are overpopulated in hell. And she wants to hopefully help them to get to heaven. That is her goal. So she created this hotel to do that. And we've got the character Alistair, who is known as the radio demon. He comes in and he is helping her to run this hotel and get some of the things that he needs. So we've got a host of some really fun and interesting characters who are messed up in their own way, and so I'm excited to get into all of that. But we find it. There's some really interesting things here. So my favorite character, maybe we could talk about our favorite characters. My personal favorite character is Angel Dust. And
Wait, let me point out, I was very surprised when you said that. It's like, my favorite character is this, and Poison is my favorite song. Like, well, who are you?
I really like him. So Angel is a porn star, gay porn star. And he is so interesting to me, I think, because he is caught in the lie and the trap of sin. And he is quite literally being controlled by this contract that he made with one of the overlords in hell, one of the V's. What's his name? Val? I think his name is Valentino. Yeah, Valentino. So he signed a contract with Valentino to, I guess, become famous or whatever, and he's now trapped in this world. And to me, that is just such an indication of, man, what it of being trapped in sin. Because we make deals, we make contracts with our flesh, with the things of this world, and we can get so lost in those things. And I think that was really interesting part of the show, was being able to show that and what it's like to be in the porn industry. I obviously I've never been in the porn industry, but I can imagine the corruptness that's there. And we see Angel get he really puts on a mask. He puts on a mask just to survive and to forget his pain, which causes him some trouble and keeps him really from truly being redeemed, I guess, and making real progress toward that goal. He's actually the first guest to stay at the hotel and to want to work on redemption, even though he says it's for just because it's a free place to stay, which probably is, a big part of that. But it seems like he does actually want to work on himself, because we see when Sir Pentius finally comes into the scene, and Angel's pretty much thrown aside and like forgotten about, like he doesn't matter, and that his desire to even be there doesn't really matter. And it was really sad. It was really sad to see that for him. We really get more of Angel's story in episode 4 of Hazbin Hotel. And there's some heartbreaking manipulation and emotional things that happen in that episode. And he gets some real breakthrough. So I was really happy for him.
Yeah, for a show that already is full of blood, sex, violence, and everything else, that one has a content warning at the beginning. That episode.
It's intense. It's intense.
and the point, it's the only one that's rated 18 plus out of the whole. I mean, I think it should all be rated mature, but it is interesting that that's the only one that has a content warning. One of my favorite characters, Rebecca you'd already mentioned, is Sir Pentius, and I see him much as a comic relief villain at the beginning, kind of like Team Rocket from Pokemon. He's always the last sent off again. But he's there to battle Alistair, who apparently they've battled many times before, but according to Alistair, they've been abysmal that he doesn't even remember fighting him. And Sir Pentius is also sent in as a spy from the group called the V's to bring down the operation of the Hazbin Hotel, to thwart Charlie's objectives. And that doesn't always go so well. What I like about Sir Pentius's character is that he earnestly wants to be redeemed and do better, where the song, it starts with sorry, which we discussed a little bit back in part 1. And in the end, he actually goes up to heaven because he did a benevolent act. He sacrificed himself in the battle in episode 8. So I like to say that he went from Sir Pentius to Sir Repentius.
You're crazy. Yeah, and I find it interesting too about Sir Pentius. The voice actor is the same actor that is Adam. Yes.
It's
how
so
ironic,
funny,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that just shows the range.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a good actor. He can do lots of different things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like Sir Pentius too, Josh. He was not my favorite, but he was a good character.
Yeah.
Overall, just like character development in general, this show is great. There's a lot of nuance for all of the main characters. My favorite is Alistair, which I will say I saw something funny the other day. Because now that I watched the show and was looking stuff up on it, it starts popping up into my feed now. So like Twitter keeps sending me comments on Hazbin Hotel, or X, I guess, whatever. But there was one, I don't even remember who made the comment, but like you said, so Angel Dust is gay, or at least he's bi. And that is very common for a lot of the characters in this show. But they were talking about when you have characters like Angel Dust and Alistair, who should be like LGBTQ poster boys, why is Adam my favorite character? And I don't remember who said it, but I just thought that was funny. And it just kind of shows that we don't always pick the character who you would think. Like when she said Angel Dust, you're like, what? But yeah, Alistair's my favorite. I love the way they do his voice. The old timey crackling radio thing, and then every once in a while the radio cuts out and you hear his actual voice.
What just happened?
It's only a couple of times in the show. So there's when Sir Pentius gives him his coat back, the little piece that he tore off of it. right at the very end, you hear his real voice. Or when he's fighting Adam and Adam blasts him, you hear his real voice right at the end before he says this broadcast is getting cut type thing. Like, so every once in a while you hear him, but it's almost always hidden behind that radio static, which I just think it sounds cool. And then the character design is great. And he's also, he's got that mystery to him. Like, who is he beholden to? He's got to deal with somebody. There's a lot of people that think it's Lilith. But then there's a lot of people that also think that would be too obvious, and it might be some other party that hasn't been officially introduced yet. So there's apparently another dark character that's been hiding in the background of several episodes and never been shown, called Rue.
Oh.
Oh.
Who is Rue? What do we know about Rue?
Well, and that's the thing. We don't.
Oh.
There's not much. Like, there's a symbol for Rue that you see in several of the episodes, and apparently during your favorite video, the poison one, when Angel's dancing, he makes the symbol. And it shows up in graffiti and in a couple of other places. And I think it shows up in the shape of like one of Alistair's antennas. From what I've heard so far, Rue is probably a woman, or at least female presenting. Somebody very dark. Might even actually be the evil that Lucifer is said to have kind of fallen to at the beginning. So there's a whole bunch of theories on that end, which, hopefully we'll get some of that in season 2. But, just who does Alistair have a deal with? Who is he chained to that he is obviously trying to get out of this? And most of the time, that keep a smile, you're always in control type thing. He acts like he's in charge. He acts like he doesn't care. But then occasionally you see, like when Mimsy shows up and he kicks her out, he tells her, like, if you want to be redeemed, stay. Even though he says in the pilot, like, I don't believe any of this. I'm in this for my own entertainment. I'm doing this for me. He tells her, if you want to be redeemed, stay. Otherwise, leave. Which it kind of tells me that it's not entirely black and white. Alistair has some type of, like, he might not even consciously know it or admit it to himself, but I think he believes at least a little bit in the mission of the hotel. But then there's all the baggage of he's got a contract with somebody and he is trying to get out of it.
Yeah, Alistair is so interesting, I think, as well. He and you hear too in the finale song, where he's almost killed by Adam, and he retreats, and he says something to the effect of, like, Alistair, altruist who dies for his friends. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's just not the way that it's going to end. And he was like, it was so close to sacrificing himself and to giving himself up for his friends. So he admits that they're his friends. So I thought that was interesting.
At least in some respect. I mean, look at him with Nifty.
Yeah.
He genuinely seems to enjoy Nifty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, him and Husk have an antagonistic relationship because, he has Husk's contract. But he also has Nifty's contract. And they seem to genuinely enjoy each other's company. I dubbed the king of the roaches. Like, I would love to know how that brain of yours works. Like, that final song of his has caused a lot of theories because he's got a line of, if I can unclip my wings. So, there's one theory that he used to be an angel. And his wings have been clipped, and now he's down in hell. It could be, maybe not, but that line has caused a lot of questions.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that, but like, that's just kind of like a general, visual imagery.
Wings are clipped. Whatever. But you're dealing with demons and angels, it could take on a different meaning.
It could. Like, yeah.
Vaggie's wings were clipped, and she fell to hell. Then she finally gets them back when she admits that I need to fight for the people I care about instead of vengeance. which right there is a redemption arc. I'm going to kill the people that hurt me, or I'm going to protect the ones I love. Well, I'm going to protect the ones I love. Boom, she gets her wings back. That's nice and clear.
Yeah, it was very clear. Very clear.
Just to list a few of the other characters that soon you can mention, we get Husk, who is the bartender and also was a real big gambler, which is one of the ways that he got into a contract with Alistair. We also have Nifty, Overlord. Nifty, who is the hotel's. Can't quite figure her out. She's there.
She's the maid.
She's the janitor. That's what they call her.
Yeah. We discussed.
But she also bakes cookies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. We have also discussed Angel Dust, Adam, who is a grade A jerk, putting it lightly.
Yes. That's the nice way to say that. He is a piece of work.
Yeah.
I think that's why people like him, though, because his character is 100% honest. First season, his character is 100% honest. There is no nuance or anything. I am this guy. I am doing this. Get out of my way or I will wreck you.
Yeah.
Now,
that is true.
So he's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Adam is in the trailer for season 2.
Okay, because a lot of people have said, well, no, he's dead. And I'm like, well, no.
In the trailer for season 2, he comments about being back. So
Okay.
people are wondering if he's going to end up in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the trailer doesn't really give much information. It's him. It's the voice of Adam saying that he's back. Like, did you really think I was gone?
Yeah.
So he's there. Whatever that means, he's there. So the next season, there'll probably be a little bit more nuance to his character now that he has himself fallen.
And then, we also have the two main angel characters, which are Sarah and Emily. Play on words, Seraphim. That was cute. And let's see, who else am I forgetting? Have I forgotten any other characters? Mainly the other ones that we discussed already.
Those are the main ones.
There's all the different overlords, which mostly we see the V's, we see Zestiel, we see Carmilla. So I think we mentioned everybody at the hotel.
Yep.
So, and then Lucifer. Duh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. And then I can't think of her name right now. The other angel, Adam's lieutenant.
Yeah, I don't remember her name.
I remember the nickname, which is not appropriate, that he gave her. I don't know her official name.
But she doesn't really show up much until the very end.
Mm-hmm. Very end.
Going back to Adam for a moment.
Yes, let's talk about Adam.
But before that, I honestly thought that Mr. Vox was going to be the main villain.
Who? Vox.
Yeah,
Vox, the TV.
Yeah, Overlord Vox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Because we had this, I guess, Illuminati, if you will, of the V's, and I think he sets himself as like the head honcho there, because he tells people, it's like, trust us with your entertainment, or trust us with your safety when the word gets out about the slaughter coming in 6 months, as opposed to a year.
Which, how like technology today? Some of the technology companies.
The characters in the show, I haven't found these myself, but I know they're floating around because a lot of people mention them. There's descriptions of when they died. So like Vox died in, I believe, the 50s.
Oh.
And he's supposed to have been like a TV producer or a talk show host or something like that. Because the sinners, their form in hell is dependent on who they were in the real or before they died. So yeah, Vox was like a TV host or something like that. One way or another, he was associated with television, and I think it was the 50s. Valentino died in, I believe, the 70s. Most people think he was an abusive pimp.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So, now he's a porn producer. So yeah, something like that. And then Velvet died like last decade. Like And the idea I've heard from several people is the only reason she is counted as an overlord is because she teamed up with Vox and Valentino. But if you look at it, so you have Alistair's radio, Vox's TV, Velvet is internet. So, but they hate Alistair because he refused to join them. So you've got TV and internet working together, but they hate radio.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And yeah, everyone definitely has their own when they died and their whole story.
Yeah, well, Alistair's supposed to be like the 30s, maybe the 20s.
Yeah, same with Mimsy. Yeah, so the first song that I ever heard that was associated with this show at all is called Insane by I forget his name, Black Griffin, I think. And excellent song. But it kind of he was in the original, I think. I think he was the original
Well, no, the song.
original Alistair.
Does the song
Oh.
show up in the show or is it an outside one?
No, it's outside of it.
Yeah. Well, I think isn't like the little melody in like the very beginning of like the intro?
I do not know. I do not know.
Yeah.
But
Dun, 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 that beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think Insane. I don't think that's the beginning of it. But anyway, it goes through his story of like what happened to him when he first arrived in hell. So and I'm pretty sure that the guy who's Black Griffin, he was the original Alistair in the show. Could be wrong about that.
I know some of the voices changed from the pilot to the actual show because, once you get funding. The pilot was proof of concept.
Right.
Like Husk. Husk voice is way different.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I heard the reason that they changed a lot of the voice actors and because this had music in it and it was going to be deemed as a musical, is the original voice actors, most of them anyway, didn't like they could sing, but they wanted voice actors who had a Broadway style or Broadway range of talent.
Yeah, and the new cast definitely brings that.
If you look at their YouTube videos, it's not that they couldn't get people. Because, like, Kesha voices one of the characters in Hell of a Boss. So they definitely had access to people when they were making the earlier stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, Rebecca, you said that you want to go ahead and get right into Adam.
Oh, Adam. Yeah, fascinating character. What a jerk. He is the worst. Yeah, you love to hate him, I think is kind of where I personally stand on that. One of it, so we didn't talk about this in the previous episode, but one of my favorite songs of his is Hell is Forever. And there's so much theological stuff in there. Great song, but that's the really first time we get to hear his point of view. And I mean, he is who he is. And yeah, he's like, hey, hell is forever, whether you like it or not. And I think that's really, really interesting. He even says, I mean, a lot of it is very biblical. I gotta say, everything in that song.
Angry Christian biblical, and that's what they're going for.
Exactly.
It's not the I'm telling you this in a loving way within a relationship that I have made with you. It's the I'm telling you as someone who just barged into your life that you're a sinner, you're going to hell, you better straighten up. And that is unfortunately what a lot of people see from us.
Instead of the opposite of what we need to be doing, which is meeting people where they're at, being relational, and a lot of stuff that we talked about with our guest Paris Cosplay. We talked a lot about meeting people where they're at, being loving, being kind, but also speaking truth as well.
Yeah, it seems it's honestly Charlie is closer to that type of a person than Adam is, which I think was kind of the point.
It's her hopes and dreams that are running everything. She's focused on redemption, which Adam's just like, nope, you guys are out.
Exactly. Yeah, he says in one of the lines of the song is, did I did I hear you imply that they don't deserve death? And that directly is from Romans 6:23, which says, "For the wages of sin is death, but the free gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus, our Lord."
But they're already dead. He's killing them again.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this
He's
whole
adding
show.
insult to injury here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not great. Yeah, he's saying that, and he's saying that, because the hell is forever, whether you like it or not. They had their chance to behave better, but now they boil in a pot because the rules are black and white. So Adam is saying that, the people in hell had their chance to be good on earth, and in the afterlife there are no second chances, which is true. It's true that we only get one life to influence our afterlife. And however, it's not about, it's like the show, they say, be good. It's not about being good. It's about restoring our relationship with God. And that is only through Jesus. That's the only way that we get into heaven.
And that's where the black and the white fades away, because the black and white is, if you don't have the relationship, this is spelled out in black and white. Here's the law. You know what you're doing, whatever. But if you have the relationship, then it's, I'm a flawed sinner, but I have a relationship with Christ. I am trying. I am here, and God will give me grace. And Adam doesn't do any of that. Adam's just like, nope, you guys all died the first time and deserved it. Now you're all going to die the second time and deserve it again because this is fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was another thing that I found interesting about that particular song, is that he says, when all's said and done, there's a question of fun. And for those of us with divine ordainment, extermination is entertainment. And it's like, whew, that's
Guitar solo!
oh,
And he goes into that part.
Okay.
that is my favorite. It's very crass. I should not laugh, but every time it makes me laugh. But yeah, I mean, and that's how people see us, that it's like Christians are wanting to send people to hell because it's entertainment for us. And that is just not true.
Well, and then when they get to the court scene, like, they literally can watch hell like it's a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't want to do that. There's
No.
that question that people always ask, how can you be happy in heaven if you know that your loved ones are in hell? Like, well, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be watching them in hell on a big screen TV.
Right. Yeah, it's not that we're like going through life, so okay, how many sinners can I get into the pit of hell along with Lucifer? And that's like our agenda. No. Our agenda is supposed to be, getting more souls into the kingdom, which unfortunately, at least for Adam is concerned, is like, no, sinner, once a sinner, always lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what are some of your y'all's other favorite songs? Josh, I know yours is It Starts With Sorry.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a minute.
But yeah, what are some of your other favorite songs?
That's a hard part. Like, they're all catchy.
Okay.
They are.
But the Poison one is definitely constantly stuck in my head.
Mm-hmm.
That one is great. And the I'll Be Your Keeper, Be Your Armor one, where Carmilla and Vaggie are singing together. And then the other one is during the meeting of the Overlords, when Carmilla and Velvet are singing against each other. And Velvet's doing like the hip hop, oh, did I strike a nerve? And then Carmilla's coming in with like heavy metal stuff, like, no!
Yeah, there's some really interesting musical styles.
Yeah.
But there's so many of them.
Yes.
Lucifer, more than anything. Like, I have 2 daughters. I watched that episode and I'm just like, oh, I get this. Like, Lucifer is trying to be a good dad. He has messed up. He doesn't know how to do it, but he's trying. and he's just been knocked down so much that he doesn't know if he can handle it.
Yeah, that relationship with them, putting aside that, he's representing Satan, Lucifer.
Ignoring the biblical Lucifer, Satan figure for now.
Right.
The Hazbin Hotel one is a great character.
Yeah, he is. He's just trying to, like you said, figure it out. He's messed up. He doesn't know how to create that relationship with Charlie. And, they've both kind of been waiting for the other one to restore that relationship. And, it just takes conversation.
When he stares, there's daughter, hello. And he says completely the wrong thing because he has no idea what he's doing.
So, they have both of you and have listed a few of my favorites. But again, I'll just reiterate. Starts with Sorry. Just love the whole. It honestly sounds like something that would be in a Disney movie, but better. And Poison is a good one. Not one of my favorites, but it is a good one. I've had More Than Anything like on repeat on my Spotify playlist, just constantly. It's just such a beautiful
man,
song.
we've been added those on Spotify. I need to go do that.
Yeah, they are.
Oh yeah.
So, and I've seen many reactions where people get like really emotional, especially like seeing like you, for those that have kids and daughters, that it's something that they can connect with.
It doesn't help when you're watching it at 3 a.m, sleep deprived.
Yeah,
no walls. Like, this is sad.
Hell's Greatest Dad is a very entertaining one because it's where we really see kind of Lucifer's, character. He's like, hey, I'm gonna come in and give you, the family package and gonna get you a meeting with heaven, and kind of, facilitate what you're trying to do. And then Alistair comes in and say, hey, who's been here since day one? Who's been faithful as a nun?
Which that imagery as Alistair as a nun, freaky. Did not like that.
Are those your ears or is that your hair?
Yeah. And we kind of see kind of like that competition for, Charlie's affection, where like, no, well, I'm her dad. And then Alistair comes in and says, it's like, well, I've been here. Where have you been?
Well, and I think that song, when you contrast it with More Than Anything, it shows a broken family very well. Because how do parents try to fix the break? What can I give my kid? I can give you everything in hell. I will give you whatever you want. I can fix this by giving you everything. And then by the end, he finally is like, that's not what you want from me. You were following in my footsteps. I let my dream die because they beat it out of me, but you still have it. And I need to protect that in you. And that's a much more wholesome family dynamic than, well, I can give you everything because I'm the king of hell. I've got all the money.
Exactly. And Rebecca, in that song, you've noted there's a little nod to The Devil Went Down to Georgia when Lucifer brings out that like fiddle.
Oh my gosh, yes. We've watched the whole series twice now, and it's still funny.
I watched it the third time was last night. Or no, night before last.
Nice.
Yeah. It's easy to binge. Yeah. When you got to get past that first episode where, there's some serious shock value there. You're like, oh, what am I watching?
It weeds out the weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's one of those like, I definitely would not recommend this show for anybody who is weak in their spirituality.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you are stable, if you are in a position where you can assess the show for the good elements of it, like the character development, the family dynamics, the how it the commentary on just society in general, like there is a lot of good stuff in it. But you have to be able to get past the bad first. And if you are not in a spiritual place where you can do that, definitely not a show to watch.
Right. And to tack on that a little bit, Stephen, that's what we want to iterate here. Like, if this show like causes you to stumble, sin, whatnot, if you're not in a stable spiritual place, this is not a show for you. This is, if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, you want to be in a position to where, like, okay, this is contradictory, that I can watch it for the artful aspect, the storyline, that I'm secure in my faith and what I believe, in what Scripture says, as opposed to what the story is trying to portray as what heaven, as what hell is, as who these characters are. But my last favorite song is "You Didn't Know," and this is the second song where Charlie and Maggie go up to heaven, and they're trying to plead their case to say, "Hey, sinners can be redeemed," and then they put forth this challenge, like, "Okay, well, let's have one of your residents show us how they can be redeemed." So, well, how are they? And then Adam, like, he scrambles together to put like a list of 3 things, which is like,
None of them know.
Yeah, don't steal.
I forget the second one. The last one is stick it to the man.
Yeah. Oh, no, I just watched it. Don't steal. See, now my brain's going to be like, nope, you don't want it. What is it? Don't. Because he does them all when he's at the club. Like,
yes.
Because he stops Nifty from stealing.
It's episode 7, right?
Yeah.
6.
Oh, 6?
Yeah, because 7 is the last episode before the final fight, so that's when everybody's getting ready.
That's right.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Act selfless, do not steal, and stick it to the man.
Yeah, act selfless. Yeah. Because Angel Dust, they're at a sex club. There's drugs and alcohol, but he chooses to protect the most vulnerable among his friends. Because Nifty has no idea what's going on. She does not have the mindset for this at all. And he chooses to protect her, and in the process passes their test, which then makes everybody question.
It's like, well, okay, why isn't he here? It's like, yeah, why isn't he here? And Charlie says, wait, none of you know what gets a soul into heaven? And Sarah, one of the Seraphim, says, it's like, no more question. We just know when a soul rides.
I saw an interesting comment on Reddit talking about, so if you look at Sarah and Emily, the 2 Seraphim, they kind of view Sarah as being the Old Testament and Emily as being the New Testament. Where Sarah's much more of the legalistic, I'm going to handle the problems because I don't want this to fall on you. And Emily's much more of, we should be able to love each other. Why are we not doing this?
Yeah, that's an interesting concept of sort of Old Testament, New Testament. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of people that, the God of the Old Testament is different than the God of the New Testament, which is false. But if you do compare the two, there is a shift. But that shift isn't like, we have changed things. That shift is grace has shown up on the picture. And Emily is definitely much more filled with grace when it comes to the two. Because she's like, he did it. Why isn't he up here? And then she jumps next to Charlie against the other angels. Like, they should be able to do this. Why are we not helping them? Like, the fact that she's willing to side with Charlie over and against the other angels at that moment. Like, she's the one who cares. And then at the end of the show, she's the one that smiles when Sir Pentius shows up. Like, Sarah looks freaked out and terrified, and Emily's just got this big old smile on her face.
Yes. And there have been like rumors, which I've seen on Reddit, that if it weren't for like some intervention or whatever, that Emily could have turned into a fallen angel, much like Lucifer, because again, she's siding with with hell on that one particular issue.
Well, and that's the question on the show. Like, why do the angels get to act with impunity? Why are Adam and his executioners up there able to be the horrible people that they are when somebody in hell who is trying to better themselves can't go anywhere. And that's if hell is forever, then heaven's a lie. The line from the song, but it's the whole, if this version of hell and heaven are forever, then it's a lie, because you people are showing that you deserve to be in hell. He's showing he deserves to be in heaven.
And it goes along with that line that follows: if angels can do whatever and remain in the sky. Again, that whole acting like, hey, they're immune to this. They can do no wrong, even when they commit genocide, according to the show.
Well, I mean, and Adam flat out tells people they should be worshiping him. How do you not fall? Like that's the original sin. Like, I should be able to take God's place.
Yeah, and that is so true. He's much more of a Satan-like figure of the traditional Bible than Lucifer is. Yeah, our description of Adam when we've been talking about him amongst ourselves is that Adam is the most Chad of all Chads.
I hate when I'm on several Christian Facebook groups, and I hate when I see them trying to do the Chad thing as if it's a good thing. When they start showing like, this is Chad theology, as soon as somebody says that, I'm like, you better be quiet right now, because you are in a bad spot. Because the opposite of Chad, what's the opposite of Chad? Virgin. That's how it's always paired up. So you're saying that virginity's bad in some way or another on a theological level in a Christian group. Like, do you not see the disconnect here? Yeah, Adam is definitely a Chad. All of the girls should like me. They shouldn't go after the other guy in the band. Like, he is so insecure. Probably because Lilith left him, actually. That's his one actual flaw in the show, is his insecurity, and it's probably because Lilith. My first wife left me, so now I have to prove that I'm better than all the other women around me and force them into submission.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, because all the executioners are women.
They are.
He surrounds himself with women that he can control because Lilith left.
Yep, I think that's accurate. Well, were there any other points that we wanted to make sure to get to in our conversation on like the characters and everything?
Well, I think we've moved on from characters and more about like the messages and the music, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, in this particular episode in general.
I do like that Lucifer's an idiot once in a while. I'm not going to quote him, but when he misspeaks when he comes down to fight Adam.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's like, what? What did I say?
Yeah.
But that's just, Lucifer being naive, and they portray him as naive and innocent is the point. Until he gets angry enough to pull out, hellfire and damnation, which he does.
Well, and we even see that in Charlie. Like, we see Charlie as like, a cinnamon roll, basically. And she's nice and sweet. But there are a couple of times when Charlie almost looked like full form to like the princess of hell that she is. We don't see that until like the last episode.
Yeah, you see it a little bit in the episode where she challenges Valentino.
Yes.
And then Angel stops her.
But yeah, there are just so many points. So like, even just the songs that we can really relate to, which Becky, you did earlier, that we can relate to different books and the rest in the Bible. The one thing I did want to bring up is that I talked about a little bit earlier, which is it starts with sorry. Many people, and I personally relate this to the story of the woman caught in adultery. Well, not the directly related sin, what Sir Pentius did. It's basically saying, hey, are you truly like repentant? Okay, well, go and sin no more.
And then he turns around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to protect this place.
Yeah.
It takes him a bit to trust everybody because he still thinks they're out to get him, but he moves in, he starts making it home.
And I think it's so funny when Sir Pentius first enters the picture as under the guise wanting to be better before he actually truly accepts, the forgiveness and admits he's done wrong. Where Charlie, it makes it seem like a kindergarten or a first grade type of like activity. Say, all right, we're going to go around and we're going to do a game. So we're going to clap and we're going to say things about ourselves. And honestly, like Angel Dust is not into it. And then they do like the little like script that she's rehearsed.
Or that I'm going to go write 100 sorry or apologies or whatever. Yeah, I mean, well, and she's trying, but she doesn't know what she's doing either.
Right.
The whole point of the show is they are all muddling through this because none of them know what it takes to be redeemed, and she's trying to teach them like they're children.
Yes.
Which is what throws Angel off, because he's like, I'm not a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Sir Pentius, on that end, Sir Pentius is a lot more innocent. He's willing to be a bit more of a kid.
Right. Yeah, which is part of the comedic effect of everything. And it works, I think, for the show. They even, in that play, they even dress him up like he's a kid.
Yeah.
With like a giant lollipop and which was a very interesting, it's very interesting imagery there.
Yeah.
Or the trust falls. I don't want to live without my eggs anymore. Nobody catch me.
I just realized Sir Pentius is a snake and eggs, and snakes eat eggs a lot, right?
Yeah, but snakes also lay eggs, although these don't look like snake eggs. Yeah, it's weird. But also, if you look at him, he's a snake, but then his body looks like a tentacle. It's like an octopus tentacle with suction cups going down the middle or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got an interesting design. And I know Angel Dust is a spider.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird, because like in some scenes he has a butt, like the big old spider butt, and then in other scenes he doesn't.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like it might be a clip-on for when he's filming porn.
So there are other songs that we didn't mention. Again, I want to phrase this again. If you are not in a stable, like strong spiritual standing, this show may not be for you. The reason that we wanted to discuss this and make it a two-parter is to give you the theological backing that we did in part one, give you more of the storyline, the characters, and the music in this week's episode. And everybody has their own convictions. Like, somebody may watch this for like the first 60 seconds, which a lot of unfortunately Christian YouTubers did, and paint it with a broad brush.
I made myself get through episode 1 just to make sure I got that far.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the full episode, not just the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was kind of frustrating to see all of those reviews on only just the first 2 minutes when there's so much more to the show than just the beginning part of that.
Well, when I originally saw the preview, I thought Lucifer was the main character.
Yeah, you would think that.
Because somebody wanted to know, like, how do Christians feel about this show? And it looked like Lucifer was the main character. Like, well, I mean, it could be done well, but it's also a dangerous slope.
Yeah, right.
My thoughts there haven't changed. It is a dangerous slope, and it can be done well. But, like, yeah, Lucifer's not the main character. Okay.
You also have to keep in mind is like, and some YouTubers like, this is an attack on Christianity. It's like, well, no, it wasn't really made for Christians. It's not really attacking, at least I don't think.
The closest it gets is to very unsubtly calling out the angry, hateful Christianity that we often see on the news.
Right. Yeah. The closest that it gets there. But it is a work of fiction. But again, this is why we're having this conversation, is we're drawing those parallels, those truths out of this work of fiction, so that those of you listening and watching can make your own decision of like, okay, well, will this be beneficial for me? What can I get out of it? Rebecca or Susan, any final thoughts on Hazbin Hotel?
I'm looking forward to season 2.
Same.
I want to see where it goes.
Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much said everything about the show, but yeah, it's good. I do know that I really have to watch myself on what I allow for entertainment.
Mhm.
And while I love the songs, these are not songs that I really need to have on, for me personally, on repeat.
Yeah, most of them are not great. I watched a video on YouTube where they spliced together every song, but whenever it hit the first cuss word in the song, it flipped to the next one on the list, which was interesting because some of the songs
Yeah.
they were like, we're 10 seconds in and it's already the new song. And then
Right.
some of them, it basically went through the entire song.
Yes.
Like, more than anything, I don't think there was one in there. There might have been, but I don't think there was. Or the Fight for Love song, I don't think there was really anything in that one. There's several of them that are pretty clean.
Yes. I was on Spotify. I think there's like 3 or 4 that don't have the explicit tag next to them.
So those ones are safe to add to your playlist.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, have at it. Well, we want to thank Stephen for joining us about talking about Hazbin Hotel for both parts 1 and 2. Stephen, for those our audience that want to follow you, keep up what you're doing, how can they find you?
So I am on most social media as Mayo Writer. So MAYOWRITER. And that's Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter. I also have a Twitter that is a side of Mayo Pod, so that's specifically the one for my podcast. Or if you just go to stephenmayo.1.
All right, awesome. Well, all of you go ahead and check out Stephen's podcast. Go ahead and show him some love on social media. And until next time, keep those halos shining and stay holy, my friends.